It is a world of darkness, and the warriors of Gaia fight over the fate of the world against their enemy, the cosmic force of entropy and corruption, the worm. Unbeknownst to mankind, they wage a war against the coming apocalypse, with new cubs taking up the cause to fight with fang, clave, and gun and claw. They give the worm no quarter. They give it only rage.
To set the scene, the Wendigo have gone. The snow remains the same, if somewhat stricken with snowmobiles, which are slowly gathering snow on top of it, which, given enough time, might even be buried, though they'll most likely be moved by the Wendigo, probably left on the side of the road for some mysterious story for hitchhikers to talk about for the next few months. The chaos and fury and violence has passed, leaving a faint quiet of soft winds and rustling branches on the edges of the clearing. The Wendigo will come. But before that happens, it is your task to find this mine and make sure nothing leaves. So we rejoin you.
I'm gonna walk over and high five Darren. That was awesome!
Darren would reach up for the high five, but yeah, awesome for you, maybe. I'm still hurting.
Still, you got your teeth wet.
Not wet enough, but thanks.
Hey, we're gonna get it plenty wet by the end of the day.
Out of character, do we need to kind of create like some sort of makeshift bandage to like staunch the bleeding for some people's wounds? Because some people got really fucked up.
Definitely. The last
All
thing
right.
we want is that being exposed to the elements.
Right. I'm probably going to be trying to help with that.
Mm-hmm. Intelligence medicine.
I look to everyone and ask, do we need sets of clothes?
You can take their clothes for bandages. Also, see if they have any silver bullets in their guns.
Already done. I looked to Darren and said, when I shot that guy with the silver bullet, that hurt him.
Yeah, he bled. Let me focus.
Thus far, the best idea anyone's really had is Snarls licking it to disinfect it. With some makeshift cloths, admittedly, considering the look of the creatures wearing the clothes, you're not really sure if you want to use anything that was touching their skin directly. You managed to make some very, honestly, pretty good cloths to bandage up wounds, especially because the white fuzz interior will do good at preventing any blood clots. And with a little bit of, admittedly, dog saliva to help wash out any bacteria, you apply them and tie them down with sufficient pressure to keep them from doing any further harm. It won't be comfortable, but it is functional.
God, it hurts.
No kidding. Fuck.
What happened when you guys stepped sideways?
Yo, Rune almost turned us into minced meat, that's what. Fuck.
Yeah.
Ah, God, that stings.
Yeah, he tried to step sideways near the end, I guess, when everyone else retreated. The thing is, he wasn't looking at anything, so I think the Banes were the ones taking him with them. He was definitely possessed. I mean, he was, like, growing goat horns and hooves and stuff.
You know, that man had a bane as like a skin or some shit.
Yeah.
Not good.
I mean, tearing out his eyes helped keep him there for a little bit, but didn't do much. He still got away.
Hmm.
I swear I'm gonna kill that bastard.
So what, you saying they're possessed?
I'm saying Banes can hitch rides in them and give him powers or something.
Or act like armor.
Yeah, I mean, he was like, when we cut him, he was bleeding these toxic fumes. He took a hit.
I took more than one. I ripped that guy's back open and almost tore out his spine that did nothing.
Soon your deed name will be Backshot.
Oh, no. I ain't about that.
Alright, well, I don't think this is gonna
Which,
heal in the time that it takes for us to have a conversation, so...
yeah,
get
we should
going?
get moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't want to hold up the party.
Uh... This is gonna sound awful, but can someone carry me there? I don't want to change forms and ruin all the hard work.
I look to everyone and then I walk over and pick up Darren. I will slink him over my back.
I mean, while you're hitching rides, if you wouldn't mind.
I don't mind shouldering a black man for once.
Oh no,
carry
this
us
ain't what the
carefully,
civil rights
man.
was about.
Hey, it's about Whitey picking up the work. Let's go. I grab him.
All right. I think I should be able to remember the way back. Snarls, just keep a constant lookout.
A sudden prickling, like static electricity, rolls over each of you. As you turn to move, you realize you have wandered into the Umbra, stepping sideways without intending. And the scene before you is something quite different. Darren, you vaguely remember this place. You were here once before, not long ago, actually. It's the Glen, a place of solace, comfort, peace, nothing else. What you find is some manner of hot springs pool, serving as the centerpiece. Lush vegetation thrives around the pool, which is hot enough to melt the snow and ice around. A tall rock wall shoots up from the forest floor bordering the pool on the one side. And the sweet smell of spring earth is quite clear here. Yet you hear a crack of thunder in the air above you. As all around, beyond this oasis, is a white blur of snow that can't seem to trespass into. And yet you see in the water something dark, a shadow.
Tara approaches. What does it look like? What is the shadow in the water?
Darren would pat Dave on the shoulder to put him down.
Dave put him down, looking around a little bit.
You are able to see eyes peering back at you.
Do I get the sense it's malevolent?
No. Even Snarling feels no danger. And the eyes shimmer with a silvery hue that is glowing brightly.
What is it the shadow of?
As you kneel down, the water begins to ripple around the edges. The spirit of a bear rises from the water. It is massive. Large enough, in fact, that if it were to open its mouth, it could swallow the entire pack whole without having to widen its jaw to its limit. Its nose presented faintly before the pack, close enough that its breathing can be felt, warm air, still smelling of spring, thankfully. But it ruffles your hair and fur. Young cubs.
Darren, still looking in its eyes, says, "Hello."
Do I sense any worm on it or in the area of this place?
No.
Okay.
Mm.
In
This
that
is
case,
Glen. The worm has no perches here.
Snarls would lower himself to the ground, his belly touching the earth beneath him as he stretches out his hands to bow.
Tara, already having got onto one knee to look into the waters, now looking up to the bear, says, "Spirit of the bear, are we permitted to be here?"
I have invited you here. I have noticed your travels through this place. I have noticed your exchanges with the one who calls himself Bill. And I know you did your best to free a bear from the clutches of the Bane. He looks up to the sky. Thunder cracks loudly. And I am not the only spirit which has watched. His eyes lower to you again. I offer to your fledgling pack my patronage, if that is what you would accept.
Taro glances back to the rest of the pack to see how they feel about it.
Dave gives a shrug and a nod.
D seems to give an approving nod, still on the back of Dave.
He was carrying him on his shoulders like one would a child, holding him up.
Darren is still looking into the eyes of the bear, visibly pondering, and occasionally his attention turns towards the thunder and the skies, but always back to the bear's eyes.
Out of character, what do we know about the spirit of, like, the bear and the other spirit that's watching?
Anyone who wishes to know may roll a intelligence and occult.
I have a 0 in occult, and goddamn dice penalties. Please don't tell me I've got the most successes in this roll.
You're one of them, yeah. Both you, Snarls, Dave, and Dave, he plans to roll.
D's too busy fixated on the bear. It's
Fair
a big ass bear.
Know that bear is a totem of war, but also a master of healing. Garu mistrusts him, for his true children are the Gural, and the werebears aren't known for their fondness of the Garu. Bear is not an easy totem to bear, for those who seek glory or advancement quickly. In fact, he is one of the harder ones.
I look and I whisper to Snarls, who is closest to me indirectly, also saying it within D's earshot. Easy things have never been our way.
Out of character, what about the other one?
Grandfather Thunder. Most commonly associated with the Storm Crow, Grandfather Thunder is a totem of respect. He is feared rather than respected by many Garu, which typically suits the Shadow Lords just fine. He is a patient, subtle patron whose influence builds over time like an almighty crescendo. Most of his avatars are Storm Crows who act as go-betweens between him and his chosen. Typically, he makes it easy if you want to gain honor quick, and he is very good at teaching his followers how to intimidate any who invoke his name.
I mean, the Storm Crow for the Wendigo pack wasn't exactly helpful for them.
Well, this would be a different crow, and they were a bit foolish.
Oh, see, this is not the Stormcrow. This is the Stormcrow's daddy. Like, the Stormcrows are this guy's minions.
Yeah, he is an incarna, a very powerful fucking spirit.
He is Grandfather Thunder. He is the patron of the Shadow Lords as a whole ass tribe.
Oh, wait, really?
Yes.
But is it bear?
The thunder strikes loudly, so loudly in fact that the trees rustle and the water ripples around the bear, who looks up as Grandfather Thunder makes his presence known without speaking.
I look back into the bear's eyes, and I give a low, long nod.
Snarls would give a slight, quite polite smile, saying, "If I'm not mistaken, you were the spirit that followed us from when we were leaving Bill's, right?"
I was. Your interactions with Bill were something of great curiosity. There are those of us who have watched you closely, some of which have not yet even spoken. We each present ourselves. We each offer our patronage. Grandfather Thunder clatters loudly, and a shadow falls over the pond as you see a massive raven perched in one of the umbral trees, shifting its feather, making itself look spiffy. The bear moves his head back, the water splashing even outside of the pool onto your feet. And around him you can see wandering a fox, smiling widely, his mouth hanging open as his tongue lolls back and forth.
Oh, see, so we have Grandfather Thunder, Spirit of the Bear, the Raven, and the Fox to choose.
Yup.
What do we know of the spirits of Raven and Fox?
Raven is the cleverest bird, but not clever enough to keep it to himself.
Next.
Though he teaches wisdom by taunting cubs into pretty much teaches you harsh wisdom and always eager for new secrets. Something you guys have been decent at. Though his packs are ones that are expected to be clever, cunning, if not always good at it, and trust impeccably that their totem will provide for them. Out of character, you're not going to be very wealthy. Whereas Fox is both predator and prey, and outthinking everything he faces. Meaning, again, being good, being clever, being quick on your feet, and outthinking your opponents. Though, as you may have guessed by now, Thunder and Bear, being the largest spirits present, both means they are the spirits most interested in you, powerful in this regard. Raven, though a powerful spirit, is not as interested in you, and Fox is just tenuously there, mildly curious, if nothing else.
So, is it basically a case of they've each, come to present themselves to us and we choose which we would want as our totem now?
Yep, pretty much. Bear and Thunder are those keenest on having you.
When you said that Bear was a totem of war, is that just... Yeah, he's a totem of war, or is there more, some nuance there?
Totems of war, totems of respect, these all play a part. Totems can gift, naturally associated to their spirit in question, a great deal to their followers. Pack totems are effectively the spirit which holds a pack together in association with that totem. And it's a totem that best represents them. And as well that the totem feels best represents them. Sometimes Garu even go on entire quests to seek out the attention of a specific totem. Totems of respect are those spirits representative of virtue, honor, and werewolves look to these spirits for advice on leadership and diplomacy. Some of the greatest Garu leaders have followed totems of respect. Whereas totems of war, these are usually packs that are focused on and want to fight the worm. They are chief followers of these spirits. Scouts, healers, and other packs who expect to see a lot of fighting will probably come alongside a totem of war. Naturally, then you have totems of wisdom and totems of cunning. Again, each totem, to a degree, describes the benefits you might be expected, how it complements the pack, as well as it shows how the pack approaches things to other Garu. A fun fact is, for instance, if you do follow Grandfather Thunder, more often than not, Shadow Lords will follow your activities with interest. Meaning you probably have some brownie points with them by default. Whereas Bear, yeah, considering his kind of relationship among Garu, yeah, it's... However, each totem asks of its followers certain things to be respected. For instance, Grandfather Thunder, yeah, you do not give your peers or your rivals more respect than they've earned through their actions. Being a sycophant goes completely against Thunder's nature.
Is there, like, consequences to turning down spirits? Or totems, potential totems?
Potential totems? Not quite. Most of the time, it's, hey, they're showing up saying, hey, I'm interested in you. You turn them down, you turn them down. Such is life. But yeah, you can potentially upset spirits. Again, they are capricious as shit most of the time.
Darren's gaze does not move from the bear's eyes.
As the bear pulls his snout away from you, allowing the warmth of this glen to wash away the cold and weight of what has been burdening you for a time. All begins to shift and move as though snow being whipped up by wind. First fox fades, then raven, then thunder with a clatter shatters the skies as it all turns into a flowing white wall, bear being the last thing to fade before you are back in the snow of Canada, where you return to your task, now followed and empowered by the spirit of bear.
Darren, his chest, now no longer full of holes, rolls his shoulders forwards and says, half under his breath, mostly not. Oh, God. Thank Gaia. Dave's back stinks.
Dave would turn and sniff himself.
Oh, man, I could feel like I could jogging and I can move without feeling like one of my tendons are gonna break. Let's go.
Yeah, I feel stronger, too. Totem of war.
What?
Now time to put it to good use.
Let's boogie. D's bouncing back and forth on his left legs and then right legs over and over again as he shifts from Hamid to Hispo to Lupus, then back to Hispo.
Do we have any food?
Tara literally just tosses her bag to Darren and then shifts into Lupus and keeps moving forward.
Anyway, everybody, perception primal urge.
Sorry, just one sec. When Darren finally comes out, you see him having used the beeswax to zhuzh up his hair. So now it's very nice looking and out of his face.
Tara gives you the most exaggerated, obvious eye roll you have ever seen in your life.
He just winks at him.
Oh my god.
You are able to make substantial progress, though occasionally as you move to push forward towards the mine, you get this strange sense of... It's like when you walk into a room to get something and you can't remember what you went to grab. Something is very much trying to conceal itself, even from your memory.
Oh.
Yet you manage to progress forward, seeking out the mines. Tara, whose memory is so acute, she is able to lead beyond the threshold the rest of the way to the mine, out of character sparing you having to re-roll because she got just enough successes.
But also, the Wendigo did tell us to essentially, what was it, like mark a trail or use a sense.
What Snarls would have done on the way is kind of, considering he has animal musk, rub his fur to try and get his scent stuck on the trees as they go to the mine.
Reappearing on the ridge of the mine, you can see that much of the destruction has been cleared away rather quickly, considering everything that was done. However, all the workers are within the pit of the mine, working probably around the clock, The Fomori have kept their numbers, though with a notable decrease of maybe a single patrol's worth. Secondly, it is quite evident that natural barriers have been felled. Trees, the debris, etc., to create artificial barriers around layers of the mine. The patrols are tight-knit and constantly moving. And it looks like there is also some construction happening at the site.
Can we tell what kind of construction?
Perception and alertness. While the construction seems to be for maybe something about the size of a small barracks, a living space of some sort, it's very sturdy, the materials they're using. They're not skimping out. This isn't going to be cheap by any means. However, Snarls, you can tell additionally, whatever they're building as a habitation space has no manner of windows or easy access. It is effectively a completely dark box to allow in no light or outside elements.
Where is it situated?
Approximately near where the yellow cake storage used to be, slightly to the right of it.
Like, how large is it?
About the size of one of the old barracks, slightly shorter, suggesting it's not meant for many people.
Snarls would look at very focused. He seems somewhat annoyed.
What do you see?
I mean, I'm just thinking it's not going to be easy to get in there or do anything really with it. There's no clear entrance or exit and no windows. If we were to go there, that would be like a suicide mission.
Where does it look like everyone in the camp is?
If they're not unearthing the Narthless, they're working on that habitation.
Any sign of the black spirals?
No obvious one.
Okay.
Can I see a good vantage point?
You're at the best vantage point. You're at the top of the ridge.
Okay.
Is the North still in the middle of the mine?
Yep. A big black shape.
Have they received a new truck yet?
No.
Darren's keeping an eye out for that big bastard.
Tara just kind of like looks back the way that they came and along the ridge, and just seeing that they are like not being watched or that they are alone.
You are for the moment, though how long that will continue is anyone's guess.
What time is it right now?
It's getting close to evening.
Okay. And all we really got from the Wendigos was to wait for them to get there.
Wait for them to get there and make sure no one leaves.
Yeah, pretty much. If it looks like someone would leave, where would they do so from?
The road.
The road.
I look at Snarl. Actually, I look at Tara and mutter. Make sure Snarls doesn't see. As I reach into the blanket and pull out my rifle. Actually, I'm going to walk a little bit away so I don't immediately tip off Snarls.
Darren's gonna
gonna set
with
it.
Dave.
I'll meet you guys down there if things when I run out of bullets.
How many silvers do you have?
6. Roughly.
By the way, Darren, perception and alertness.
Thank you.
Darren, you see him in his Hamid form. The big bastard is strolling around as if he fucking owns the place.
He technically does.
Dave can hear Darren's guttural growl as he goes belly down to the snow, just staring
Can
at
I
his prey.
Can I see what he's looking at? Or do I have a direction of where he's looking at?
I mean, looking at the mine, it's a pretty big place. To get it precise, if anything, perception and alertness, you might be able to get an idea of what might have caught his attention. Oh, yeah, you see the big fucker. He's the tallest guy in the camp. Even though you can't make him out very well, you can still get a good look of him. The way he walks, the size of the fucker, and that he has 2 people following him at all times. Literally walking around in a black, tight t-shirt, big combat boots, combat pants, and nothing else aside from this massive sword sheath back. He stands out a little bit.
I mutter something to Darren. I can take 2 shots right before you engage him if you want. Or do you want to take him at full strength?
Just don't kill him.
I give a shrug.
I'm also lying between Dave and the rest of the pack, just to make sure that Snarls doesn't accidentally turn our way.
Quick question, Nylan. Those clothes we picked up earlier, what are any of them Dave-sized?
Some might be a little baggy on you, but...
Good. If I'm going to be in Hamid form, I might as well not be freezing my tits off.
Tara kind of like goes lower down to the snow so that she would be harder to see from anyone in the camp looking upwards to the ridge. And she just tries to keep an eye on the movement in the camp.
Can I see if there's any trucks there? Have they gotten any resupplies or back?
No trucks, so there is a helicopter that is landed there now that wasn't there before. This is plainly visible to everybody.
That means someone's back.
Yep. Though I will say it is quite clear that the chopper is by no means one capable of supporting cargo. It is strictly for travel.
Of course. Does it look armored or is it unarmored?
Oh, this thing looks very much armored. In fact, you wouldn't put it past it for this thing to be titanium reinforced. And it does have, in fact, under it, a black cylindrical shape.
Oh. I lick my lips and mutter something along the lines of what I wouldn't do to get close to that thing.
Snarls would, similarly to Tara, lower himself, chest into the ground, so that he wouldn't be noticed. His sight is mainly focused on ensuring no one leaves.
If we... Are there, like, the truck isn't there, but are there any types of vehicles there? Other than the helicopter?
Snowmobiles, which there's some of being used for patrolling around the edges of the mine. Further out, naturally. Those closest to the mine are on foot.
I mutter something along the lines of mutter something to Darren. Those snowmobiles should be our highest priority. Take those out so they can't escape.
Darren would just scrape one claw down the snow hard.
Dave, you think he needs to pee?
I mutter something along the lines of "Me too."
Eyebrow raised, looking back at the prey.
Snarls would, without being too loud, kind of tap with his paw the snow by his side and whisper, "Stop talking too much."
Darren's eyes are still fixated on the rune.
As you watch the mine, you do see lights starting to break from the south as a large 18-wheeler starts pulling into the camp. Massive white, red truck. The truck being red, the rest of it being just white. It comes, pulls to a stop, and turns itself off. Behind it, you see a heavy box van coming to a similar stop. Out of the back of that, some 6 or 7 people, all carrying heavy equipment.
Do these look like cargo trucks?
The 18-wheeler is an 18-wheeler.
Yeah.
The box van, well, it can certainly carry cargo, but looks like more it was meant for bringing whatever the fuck those guys are carrying.
Yeah. How many people are there around in that truck?
At the moment, a little over a dozen.
I look to I look to Darren and mutter something to ask him. See if D can go over and pop the tires of those trucks. Make sure they can't get out.
Snarls. Something's wrong.
Oh no.
Some things are watching you.
Goddamn.
Could I try to look around to see if I can see anything watching us?
Perception alertness.
I look back up at Darren and gesture towards D.
In Snarls, this is a spiritual threat. Something beyond the veil is watching you.
Darren would stand up and, like, if... Wait, Snarls is still next to us, right? Darren would, like, push him away as he's going off as well, to avert his gaze from the rifle. He's gonna go off to D and Tara.
Snarls would pull Tara in close to him, as best as he can, considering he's still a wolf, and would almost close to the ground under her chin, to hopefully create some sort of cover. Almost point with his paw up to her chin and slightly lift her head to kind of suggest that, something's watching. And then afterward, point to the camp to almost make it seem like he's talking about the camp, not the Banes. In case they do see.
Out of character, do I understand what he's getting at?
Wits and empathy. You vaguely get the impression that something's wrong.
Darren would tap Tara, point to the truck with the with his paw and scratch in the snow.
Can I tell what he's getting at?
Same roll as before. Yeah, you get what he's getting at.
What are you getting at?
Destroy the truck.
She gives a nod, but then she looks to Snarls and kind of like tilts her head a bit, like as in she doesn't understand what he means.
D, you and Dave, perception alertness. Both of you notice that your pack mates are acting funny, but other than that,
Does the coast look clear to take a pee?
Oh my god.
yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna wander off for a little bit.
Don't.
Darren, would I see this? Because I'm pretty sure I would see this.
Considering the form you're in, you'd probably hear the crunch of snow.
Yeah, I turn, just go over to him, like, still crouching down because we're near the ridge, and just, like, stop him physically.
Ah, so you're biting his pant leg.
I'm more so, like, swatting, like, forcefully stopping his leg with my paw.
I look over and get the message.
Darren just glaring at him.
I'm gonna say to Snarls and looking down into the camp, you thinking we're gonna have a fun time like the last time we were here, or more like when we were in town?
Snarls just stares at you.
Gnarls, that bad feeling is getting a lot worse. You feel like your stomach is twisted into knots, and the air around you is hot. Something bad is about to happen.
And Snarls would, considering that D seems to be the most focused on not letting anyone leave, he would give a little kick at him and kind of nudging the group to follow him, as he seems very almost tense as he does so.
Darren, wits and athletic. Darren, just as you begin to turn to follow Snarls, you are looking at a pair of heavy black combat boots, and they have kicked you down the ridge as the Arun stands in the center of the pack, a twisted grimace on his face, big wolfish teeth and furred hands, and his semi-repaired clave in his grip.
Fuck.
So fun. It was so fun.
And for the record, the veil around you is getting mighty green as the Banes are trying to get through.
What?
The only fucked thing here is the goddamn Arun. We're kicking its ass.
The Arun starts by stepping off the edge and falling after Darren, changing into Krynos.
Do I see this as I'm tumbling?
Oh yeah, he's coming for you.
I have a wolfish grin on my maw.
Meanwhile, the rest of you hear a growling cackle as their Galliard steps out behind all of you, the Wendigo clave in hand. And he is immediately swinging wide for Dave.
Oh, fuck me.
So what you doing, Dave?
Well, seeing that I just saw my friend get kicked off a ledge, I'm going to grab my rifle and duck out of the way, if I can. So, grab and roll, basically. Okay, Dex and Athletics.
You watch as the edge of that blade comes almost contact with your eye when you and the rest of everyone realize he was fainting, drawing the blade outward to his right before stabbing straight for Tara's chest.
Try and dodge out the way.
Dex Athletics. Just narrowly as the blade closes the difference to you, whistling as it bites through the air. The Galliard of the black spirals having twisted so he falls into a kneeling position to stab at you. You yeet backwards, your entire upper body lurching up so you're on your rear paws as you step back away from the blade. Meanwhile, Darren, you're free-falling and this big fucker's coming after you.
I'm going to insta-shift into Krynos, sharpen my razor claws into the rocks as I'm falling, to both break my fall and obviously have razor claws, and grab my pack.
Roll a strength and athletics. You hear the crack of rock break under the weight as your talons sharpen themselves as you are dragged down the rocky crevasse edges of the steep drop. He's still barreling down towards you, but even a few seconds makes difference as you catch yourself and then reach out your arm to grab your pack. Dex Athletics. Just as you snatch your pack before it can fall past you, you feel an immense weight as the rock you were holding around your tight grip breaks off as the Alrun's feet make contact with your upper body as he knocks you further down, continuing the free fall, now on top of you.
Can I, rock my body backwards to kick him in the back with my, foot talons?
Strength Athletics. You give him a sharp kick in the back. He starts to roll forward, grabbing your head with one of his hands, his clave above his head. You plummet down past the ridge lines, one of your back striking the ridge, his striking the next. He has no intentions of letting you go.
I don't mind.
Meanwhile, D! Right hand.
The moment D sees Big Fuck jump off the ridge, D's gonna look to the group, helping Darren again, and then leap off in his Hispo instant shift to Krynos and try and slide on down.
You know what? Give me a Dex and Athletics. Let's see how well you can free fall without going face first into the edge of the ridge. Well, you managed to plummet, putting your arms close to your body, but you are going so fast. If you make one wrong move, your chest is just narrowly passing over the edges of the ridge. If you fuck up, it's gonna fucking hurt or kill you. But you are making real good time on catching up to their free fall. Meanwhile, two of the Banes can be heard breaching through the veil of the Umbra, only momentarily materializing, suggesting the corruption in this area is fucking strong, as they tried to make center stage. However, that's about the most they can do. Tara, you're up!
Where's the spiral?
Right in front of you. His tongue, now that you get a good look at it, looks like some kind of actual kind of parasite with pincers on the end.
Would it be possible for me to kind of rush at him with a sort of feint of my own, as though I'm about to lunge for him, but instead kind of slide either past and or under him to get behind him, then instantly shift to Krynos and just wrench upwards with my claws at his back?
That would be 2 actions.
Cool.
You would have to spend a rage point.
Yes.
Cool.
Rushing towards him, you feint, and he immediately sweeps up wide with his clave, or rather his stolen clave, attempting to sever the hand as you fall into a slide between his legs and come up behind his back, shifting into the dreaded Krynos. Dex and Brawl. Sweeping up, your claws make sharp contact with his back, making him arch as he turns, a faint trickle of blackish ichor inside his fur, as over his shoulder you see him smile widely. It's like when you step on a masochist's nuts. He's in pain, but he loves it. Snarls, how do you proceed? Mind you, on either side of this fight, to the left and to the right, are a Bane each getting ready to make their moves as they materialize.
Could I, while peering into the Umbra, kind of position myself behind Dave that I don't get attacked while doing so?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that.
As you maneuver yourself to get as much out of immediate striking range as possible, you peer into the Umbra, the edges of your shades for a moment glimmering in spiritual light, as you see the Bane. They come up the ridgeline like a horde of spiders crawling upward towards you. The children of green glowing eyes and yellowish muck clawing their way up towards you, dozens in number. And from the center of the mine where the Narthalis lay, you can see a neon blue light merging with this green emanating glow.
Snarls, being behind Dave, would very quickly whisper in a very urgent tone, "Danger."
Okay, I have 2 questions before I do anything. I'm sorry. First question. This guy's within 5 feet of me, right?
Easily.
Okay. Second, we're at the top of the ridge, aren't we?
Yes.
Okay. So, I'm going to take my rifle, aim it directly at this fucker's chest, and unload 2 silver shots into it.
Take some firearms. As you fire with the rifle, it's a clear sound to hear that echoes far and wide, but at this point, no point in being quiet. The first bullet lodges itself in the black spiral, who snarls, actually seeming to be quite pissed off. And when he looks at you, he opens his mouth and roars loudly, his eyes suddenly glowing bright green, as from them you see this hellish skeletal creature rise as a smoke to hold out its arms as though it's about to attack you. The second bullet whizzing past him. Darren, Mr. Aroon is taking his chance while on top of you to try to stab you.
So, my eyes aren't covered by his claws, that's good.
No, he wants to see you. He wants you to see him killing you.
I want to try to cut through his wrist, with my razor claws.
Some brawl. From where D is watching this fight happen, he sees the blade plunge down for Darren. And then he sees the arm being batted away with a spurt of black blood painting one of the pieces of the ridge side. As Darren, you open up his wrist at least 2/4 of the way through, grazing bone and leaving cuts in it. Pissed off, the Aroon shoves down as hard as he can with his legs and closes his fist tighter around your head. This time it's you who shoves your talons in his gut. Though similarly to D, there is an immediate hot burst of steam from his insides, scorching your hand and roll stamina. Despite the steam, which causes a blistering heat over your hand, you don't feel it. You don't care. What you do see is this squirming beneath his flesh that writhes painfully before ceasing entirely. Meanwhile, up above, everyone up above, dexterity athletics. This motherfucker is giving a howl.
God damn it.
As this bastard throws back his head and howls, this deep, roaring howl into the sky, you see as above the clouds actually part in a somewhat circular shape. As the ground trembles with such force, a sinkhole opens in the middle of all of you, cracking the ridgeline wide, causing various pieces to fall and shift, D having to lean himself to the left with all his body weight to avoid what's happening and ride the middle of this crack forming, putting him admittedly somewhat to Darren's left. The rest of you manage to stay on your feet barely. Tara and D are put to one knee, whereas Snarls is the only one still on his feet. And at that immediate moment, the spiral twists and flashes with his blade in a wide arc for Dave and Tara's head.
I'm just gonna roll backwards again.
You have a Snarls behind you.
Oh shit! You fuckwit! Okay, I'm gonna try to dip under that shit. I'm gonna try to dip to the right and kind of jump away. I'm getting out of there. I'm dodging. I'm
Dex
dipping.
athletics.
Kind of want to quickly, like, dip under that attack.
Dex athletics. Dave, you narrowly manage to duck under. He slices off the top handle of the gun completely, which thankfully didn't need to operate it. The piece falling into the snow with a clank. Tara just feeling the buffet of wind above her head as she was nearly de-brained. Meanwhile, Darren, your turn. That round is starting to sound closer as you can hear the whistle of wind and you can see a black shape barreling towards you to your right.
Can I see the moon? It's evening.
Yes, you can.
Yes, sir.
And guess what?
What, baby?
It's a full moon.
Yes. So, one hand claw into his abdomen to pull myself up, the other trying to grab for the clave and scratch his hand, and wrestle for the clave to bring it down onto him.
As you try to sweep at him, crunching those nice tasty claws of yours against his abdomen, the moment you begin moving beneath him, he shoves your head to the left, and your back of your head collides with one of the stones, cracking the stone clean off as you start doing a barrel roll, spinning sideways as you both fall, your bag flailing in your hand around you.
I want to try to tear through his pec so that he can't, like, move his arm laterally with the clave. Like, slice through the tendons.
You bury your claws into his pec, and you actually hear him grunt with a deep snarl as he pushes back the pain, as you feel the muscles flexing around your claws. Meanwhile, D, that bag is now coming straight for your face. And you know what's in that bag.
Oh, I'm catching that bag.
Dex and athletics. Snatching the bag, your claws rip through the fabric, wrapping around the horn as it's held in your grip. Meanwhile, Tara, you're up. And now the Banes are starting to move, and two more are starting to try to tear themselves out of the Umbra.
What is the spiral doing?
Well, he's straightening himself up after his failed.
But like in relation to me, where is he positioned and is he facing me?
Yeah, he kind of has you in his peripheral as well as Dave and Snarls.
So we're at his side.
Yeah, you're kind of on the edges of... You and Snarls are on the edges of his vision. Dave is more or less center.
Would I be able to, like, make eye contact with Snarls and kind of growl as a signify to do that kind of pack maneuver that we were talking about before and had, like, done before? Telling, like, for Snarls to distract, and I want to, like, attack by trying to rip out his throat so that he can't, like, howl again or do whatever the fuck he's doing.
Well,
Actually, other way probably works better and plays to our strengths better.
up to you. Either way, you're going to have to communicate through howl and immediately move to action.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that.
Alrighty then.
Could I also, like, preemptively spend a point of rage to do another action as well?
Yeah. Manipulation and performance. Snarls. Dex and Brawl. As you attempt to distract the Galliard, and then feint to the side as Snarls lurches in, swinging his claws, he puts out his own hand and jerks back, raking his talons of the free hand across your gut. However, you immediately see the front of his throat be gorged open by Snarls, causing the black spiral to spit a spewing line of black blood.
Could I, like... As I'm, like, rushing past him, use my momentum to sink my talons into his arm holding the clave and, like, rake my talons through it?
Yep, Dex and Brawl. Your talons rake out, reaching his wrist. He twists his arm up, battering his wrist against yours, knocking your hand away. Immediately, you feel the small clawed hands of the Bane behind you attempt to wrench you back. And similarly, the other one, which came out of the Umbra before, rushes between the two, you and the spiral, for Dave.
I'm gonna partially transform my arm, my right arm, and just rake across the one coming at me with my claws as I mutter, "I don't have time for you."
Tara, you are pulled onto your back as it begins to press down on the center of your chest, whirling around you as it sits on your chest, holding you down, laughing in your face with a distorted, echoing giggle of a child. Meanwhile, Dave, as the one closes the distance with you, you pull away one arm from your rifle and sweep it across the chest, and it pulls back immediately with ichor spilling out from it as its intestines ooze onto the ground. It fades back into the Umbra, retreating immediately.
Okay, with that same arm, I'm gonna steady my rifle as I loose two of the silver bullets. They'll pop out of my rifle and hit the snow below as I pray to the spirit in this gun, taking aim at the fuselage or the fuel line of the 18-wheeler, saying, "Hit, damn you, hit, damn you!" I'm going to fire at the 18-wheeler's fuel line and see if I can take it out of the fight.
When you fire, you hear that shot crack off, and it belts downwards. And you're not sure how, but you can feel it strike. You arch your back, and you can almost feel the wind curling up under it as it spins, bouncing off the front of the box fan into the fuselage, and you watch a ball of flame.
I smirk happily as it catches fire, making sure that these fuckers aren't getting this egg out of this day, so I can turn my attention to the fire.
Okay. Meanwhile, Yeet, what you doing?
I'm gonna look to Darren. Black spirals below! And with one hand, I'm going to try and slow down my fall, and the other, I'm going to blow the horn.
D, as you catch one of the ridge lines and steady yourself, you belt the horn. What happens next, as all of you hear that horn? Darren, for whatever reason, you feel a lightheadedness as you make full force contact with the ground below. The spirals closing around you. The Umbra wrenches open its maw around the rest of the pack as the Banes begin to gather in force. And then Darren, you get up. All of you feel a sudden weight released from you as the first pack enters your bodies and lends you their strength. And with them through the Umbra as the Banes squeal in terror, every Garu legend starts hacking them down. Peering from the Umbra, they storm the camp, wreaking havoc. Nothing can slow them. No wall can stop them. No enemy can fell them. As Darren, you stare the Arun in the face as he takes 2 steps back, afraid.
This is so cyclical, because the first time we were at the camp, I called on my ancestors to make Fenris watch, and now I am Fenris.
So, Darren, you're starting off, and now you have the Arun afraid. His ears are flat against his head, he's stepping back, his eyes are wide, because all he sees in front of him is the ultimate Garu.
I'm going to use Horde of Valhalla. Just spending rage and gnosis. 1 sec. Hang on. So I spend as many points of rage and gnosis as desired, then roll charisma and animal ken. Okay. Difficulty 6. So if I just beat this... How many get it down there? So it's going to be... So 1 was up there, 1 is on me. So that was 6. So 5. 4 below me. I'm going to spend... 8 gnosis and... 6 rage. For a total of 14 wolves.
From the Umbra, through the screams of the Banes, cut down, the howls come. Surrounding the black spirals, the Ragabash spiral looks in all directions, making circles in his steps as he sees he's in a very bad place right now.
I want to cut the clave from the Arun's hand, as in cut his hand off, grab the clave, and strike him with it.
Stepping towards the Arun, he lunges forward in an attack, swinging the clave. You sweep up your hand, taking his wrist clean off, as you snatch the clave from the air and swing. Dex melee. As his head is taken from his body, causing him to collapse to his knees and then fall forward before you, the snow parting as his blood burns under his flesh. The clave beneath you clenches tight as one of the hound spirits leaps towards you. You instinctively raise out the clave and watch as its shape morphs in your hand into a grand clave marked with the Getz symbol. One of the other spirals turns to flee, only to run into the hounds. You're not here with them. They're here with you. Tara,
Yeah.
what do you do? And for the record, Darren, you see as behind one of the spirals in a swirling tornado of sand, D appears and putting his hands on the back of the spiral's head, lifts his pinky and middle finger, and you watch as the spiral's eyes turn black as he starts trembling. Anyway, back to Tara.
I want to use the gift Fog on the Moor, which would transform Tara into a ghostly outline of herself, allowing her to pass through anything except silver as though incorporeal.
As your body becomes as fog, you are released from the Bane's clutches, even as it recoils away from you, screeching and clawing at the air as if trying to scare you off. It's trampled underfoot as one of the Garu legends bursts over it from the Umbra, tornadoing and running down the ridge.
If I was to use the living wood, which calls upon forest to get trees to move and block people, would it be able to block the black spirals?
Throughout the entirety of the surrounding area of the mine, you all can hear the as the trees crawl on their roots towards the surroundings of the mine. The road almost instantly is overrun by the trees, cracking pavement as they cross. Dave.
I'm going to, I have an idea. It's probably not a good one, as most of my ideas tend to be. I'm going to turn into Hispo, and then I'm going to use the gift Steel Blowfish.
Well, Dave, while technology still has a way to go, as you change into Hispo and evoke the gift of steel fur, who needs cyber dogs? You're already made of steel.
You said there's a split into the abyss, or some sort of split down the ridge, correct?
Yeah.
I'm gonna ram my body into his legs and see if I can push him over.
In the future,
Next round,
do this stuff
ahead of time.
before. Yes. I'll be nice.
Okay.
Go ahead and roll your strength and brawl. As you barrel towards him, he is still trying to wrap his head around what is happening. As he turns, he slashes and claws back at the coming Garu spirits from the Umbra. As you pound into his leg, his left leg bending, he twists, snarling as he falls back into the pit. But he does manage to catch himself with the clave on the edge. Meanwhile, Darren, what are you doing?
I'ma just split him down the middle.
As the spiral bats off one of the wolves and steps back, his hands spreading out as he gets ready to attack the next one, 3 closing in on him from all angles. He goes rigid before you see the 2 halves of him split and fall to either side.
That's nice.
D beside you thrusts forward the black spiral he held, who vanishes right in front of you. He offers you a courteous smile
I agree.
and just says, "That motherfucker ain't coming back." Kara,
Yes.
what
This
you
is Galliard. Where is he?
using the clave not to fall down the sinkhole.
So in relation to us, is he like...
He's a few feet ahead of you, using the clave buried in the earth to not fall.
I want to use a point of rage to do multiple actions. Where I want to walk to the edge, slice my claws through his hands, grab the clave, then jump down after him as he falls to thrust the clave into his heart.
Dex and brawl. As he looks up at you, his hand reaching for your face, you gorge open his wrist, splintering the hand away from the arm. As he tumbles back immediately, his fingers never reaching within a distance to be blown upon by your breath. Snatching up the clave, you leap after him. Go ahead and roll that sweet strength and melee. Leaping after him, your feet make contact with his lower chest, pounding him against the wall, grinding him against it like a cheese grater as you make your way down. The clave thrust into his torso as he rides downward, splinters up, cracking through the skull and splitting it in half. As you ride him on the way down, the clave then gripping the wall, keeping you from falling as his corpse falls beneath you. Snarls.
Could I use Malleable Spirit to change the purpose of the Bane into bringing me to Azera?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Following after the morphed Bane, now brought as a spirit to serve. It leads you to the center, where the Narthala stands, where you can see her. She is in her Krynos form, as hideous as it is beautiful. A twisted creature with glowing green pits for eyes, a nearly reptilian maw filled with shark-like fangs, and matted light gray fur. Her talons grow neon blue. Looking at you, she snarls. And before you realize it, Dee is standing beside you with Darren.
Snarls grins.
Dave.
I'm going to summon a net spider. Yeah, you see that satellite dish over there? Yeah, bad things are gonna happen to this camp. First off, I'm going to cut it from. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to make sure this place is a virtual and Wi-Fi dead spot. No one's coming out. No one's getting word out through the computer.
With the clinking of mechanical pincers, the spider progresses forward, rushing down the mountain to the few Fomori that are still near the net dish. This thing suddenly vanishes to appear out of the reflection of the glass beside them, opening up with the P90 in one of its pincers. It mows down the Fomori as it clambers on top of the satellite, resting its thorax on it.
Yeah, you know all those funds that this place was getting? Yeah, I'm taking control of those.
Dee appears beside Tara. Dee appears beside Dave. All stand before Azera. And taking a step back, this bitch is about to try to run.
Is this the part where we start harrying?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, why not? Character would, first of all, I'll do a howl calling the pack to hunt. And as the pack rush forward to, well, essentially begin harrying, I want to use Bridgewalker to essentially appear instantly beside her, harrying her into one direction.
Everyone. Dexterity. Athletic.
I will also say I would have used the gift Halo of the Sun, which basically will terrify the living hell out of her.
As you harry her, a cone of light focusing down on her from the heaven. The sounds of the cries and roars of the Garu of legend ripping this place to pieces. The Narthalis, unable to do much more than sit there, look fucking pretty, have a coconut smile, and shut the fuck up. You harry. You bite, you claw, you terrify, you run this bitch out of the mine, nearly sending her over a couple of times. She's hitting things, twisting ankles. You chase her out of the mine, from the camp, nearly into the damned sinkhole, until she's collapsed in the snow at the feet of the Wendigo coming, who can't help but stare in wonder of what the fuck has happened. As one by one, you close in on this bitch, pinning her to the ground. The only Wendigo able to act at what they are seeing, being the Arun Elder, steps forward, holds out his clave, and after drawing all of your hands to it, plunges down, ending the night. Now, we're going to go ahead a little bit in time to when you do get back to New York, as you come before the cairn of your elders in the Sept of the Green. And with Mother Larissa smiling proudly, asks, who steps from the shadow?
We
who are not now what we once were.
Who comes in the night cold and hungry?
We
who do not
We
hunger,
who do not hunger for prey
Pray for warmth.
or warmth.
seek
Seek
wisdom.
wisdom this night.
Who comes before us wounded and dying?
We who have fought the world
and yet
and yet live.
We who tend our
Who tend our own.
Who comes before the fire nameless?
We
We
who are
who are
without a name,
without a name,
yet seek one.
yet
Yet
seek
seek
one.
Who comes in the light of the rising moon?
We
We
who have
who have fought the bitter battle.
Who comes in the glory of our mother?
your children,
Your children
children once.
once,
never again.
but never again.
Who comes before us as warriors, children no longer?
We do.
We do. We are
We are packed.
So let it be sung. So be it. Welcome.